Hello, Renee here. I am here today to demo one of the cards that I am teaching at my church. And ladies, I'm so glad you're with us. Hopefully this video will help you put together your card kit. The particular card kit that I'm demoing for you now, I am calling With Gratitude. And in your kit, this is what you'll find. You'll have your envelope. Go ahead and pull out your insides. You can put your envelope to the side. And for those of you who are watching this video possibly after the event has already occurred and you want more information about how what size everything was cut as well as the materials that were used, feel free to check out the coordinating blog post that I'll have linked down below. And that should have all the information that you need. However, if you have any questions, just go ahead and leave me a comment and I'll be happy to answer those questions. So what you'll have inside your kit is you'll have your card base. So you go ahead and there you go, put that off to the side. You will also have your sentiment and your sentiment layer. Those two will go together eventually. And you also have two little, let's see if you can see these very well. These are two little foam squares. And I really like these foam squares. These are my favorite brand of foam squares. And they're these right here by Scrapbook Adhesives. Try to get that glare away for you. I picked these up either at Hobby Lobby or Joann. They're not very expensive and you get a good amount in a package. And they're not so thick that they cause you to have to pay extra postage. That's important to me. So put that to the side. Then you also will have a white layer and you'll have this cocoa layer rectangle, very large. You're going to go ahead and just put those to the side. They are going to be layered together and they will form the inside liner of your card. And then for the front of your card, you have this brown layer, and sorry about that. And then you also have this pattern paper, and it is double-sided. However, we're going to be using this yellow side, and I am sorry, these lights are not picking this up very well, so let me try something. If that works better, let's see what we get. No, that's not going to be any better, so just believe me, it's a beautiful paper. And so we're going to go ahead and put these to use. So the very first step, you're going to need this brown piece and you're going to need your layer, your card base. So with your card base, this is going to be a top folding card. So you're going to need the fold of the card at the very top. So go ahead and place that down, and then you're going to be adhering this to this. A couple things about adhering. I've included in your kit one of these AdTech Crafters tape. These are really good tape. I really like these a lot. You can get them at Hobby Lobby, you can get them at Walmart, you can get them at Joann. They sell them just about everywhere. I've included one for you in your kit, and the way you use it is just pop off that little lid, and then you're ready to go. You just hold it like this, pull. There are several other types of adhesives. If you find yourself that you're really enjoying this and you're going to be doing a lot of paper crafting, card making, scrapbooking, that sort of thing, I would highly recommend one of these. This is the Scotch Advanced Tape Glider, also called an ATG gun. And that's kind of what it looks like. It's bigger than my screen. And this is the other side. This holds an awful lot of tape. You can see here, this is the tape. And it also comes in two types of tapes, an acid-free and just a regular craft tape. Acid-free is what you want to use if you're doing something that's an heirloom type of piece or you're scrapbooking, things you're going to be keeping for a long time. Most people don't keep greeting cards for a really long time, so you're not going to have to worry about acid in your products. This tape that I'm supplying for you is not acid-free, so don't use this in your scrapbooking. Another type of tape, if you like being able to move pieces around after you place them down, liquid glue is going to be your best bet for that. There are two types that I like to use. This one is called Tombow Mono Multi Liquid Glue, and I really like this because it has a really fine tip here on this end, and so you can get a really fine, small amount of glue. You don't want to use a lot of glue when you're dealing with paper because the paper will buckle. Another type of glue is this Scotch Quick Dry adhesive. This one is also really good for paper. It does dry extremely fast, so you don't get quite as much movement as you would with this. However, they both dry fairly quickly. Okay, so today what I'm going to use though is my tape gun. So the first thing you're going to do, I'm going to slide that out of the way so you can see what I'm doing, is you're going to place your adhesive all along your edges of your paper. You want to get as close to the edge as you can get without going over. If you go over, it's not the end of the world. You just need to rub that glue off so that it's not on the very edge and transferring to the front of your card, because that could cause your card to stick inside the envelope, and then the poor person who gets it has to tear apart everything just to get to the card. So in the instructions that you have, this is step 1. You're going to adhere this brown strip to the card front. Again, make sure the card fold is at the top, and I'm putting it about 1/4 of an inch from the bottom, and you want it lined up on either side. Okay, so just do your best to make sure that it's lined up on either side, and then just push that down. Okay, then so just slide that over there. Step 2, you're going to take your pattern paper and you're going to use the side, see if I can get it, there you go. You're going to use the side that has these, the yellow and the white. You don't want to use the other side. This particular paper is discontinued. It is by Close to My Heart. They don't make it anymore. It was called Skylark. And the other side had some beautiful birds, but it was a really large print and would not work well for card making. If you really want to get into card making, I would suggest that you work with 6x6 or 8x8 paper pads rather than the 12x12 sheets of paper, because they tend to be smaller prints which work well with cards, although you will find quite a few 12x12 papers that will work as well. You just need to make sure that they're not very large scale prints, because they'll overpower your card. Okay, so then you want to line this up side to side is even, and then just center it top to bottom. Now, very rarely will you be able to get everything lining up perfectly. So what you want to do after you've done all that is you want to open your card and you want to look and see, let's see if I can get this so that you can see it. This particular one did not line up perfectly. I'm going to need, can't get that for you, I'm going to need to trim off a little, just probably a 16th or a 32nd of an inch of this side paper so that it's even. So just grab the scissors there at your table and you can do the same. So just go ahead and make sure both sides are straight, and they are. And as you can see, this is what I had to cut off. So I mean, it's not very big at all, but it does make a difference, and it does show that you took some care in the details. So just take the extra few seconds it takes to trim that off. So this is what we have now. Again, our card opens like that. And the next step that we're going to do is step 3. And step 3 involves taking this particular piece, this die cut piece. I cut that for you on my electronic die cutter. And you're just going to place that right there. Okay, so go ahead and put some glue on it. Let me get in the camera here, sorry about that. Put some glue on there. And these particular kind of pieces are a little bit harder to get your glue all the way around the edges, so just do the best you can. These probably won't be going through hurricanes or anything like that, so you don't have to be too particularly, careful about getting stuff right to the edges. However, if you are making a card for a child, do add a little bit more adhesive, because they do tend to be a little rougher with cards. So just go ahead and you can place that, just eyeball it, kind of off to the side. I like to do things a little bit off center. If you like it completely in the center, go right ahead and put it in the center. This is your card. You can do it any way you like. Now, step 4 is we're going to put our foam squares on the back of our sentiment, because we want to pop this up just a little bit. This card is pretty basic and pretty simple, which I think looks really nice, but I do like to give them a little bit extra. Now, what you'll also find is when you're die cutting pieces, either with an electronic die cutter or with, say, your Big Shot and some metal dies, you may end up with some little pieces. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I'm just going to take my scissors and get off all those little burrs that were still left over. Okay, make it look pretty. So take your foam squares that are in your kit, turn this over, and you're going to put one foam square on each side. Now, if this was a larger piece, I would have put a foam square in the middle because you don't want it to sag. But this is a fairly small piece, so you really don't need to do that. Now, the next step is to peel off the paper backing. These foam squares come with a paper backing. You can see that paper backing. You want to take those off. Now, once you take those off, this sucker is sticky, so don't drop it onto anything because it's not going to come back off again. Okay? And then you just want to place it. I'm going to bring this a little bit closer to myself, and sorry if my head or anything gets in the way. You want to place it centered in that. Okay? And then just push it down once you've got it where you like it. Again, it doesn't need to be perfect. Like I said, this is made by a person, not by a machine. And then you want to grab your two other pieces. We're going to adhere this to this, and then the whole thing's going to go inside the card just to finish it off. I like to finish the insides of my cards. I just think it gives it a real quality kind of a feel. Now this sentiment panel, if you think you're going to be writing a lot, or if you want to stamp on the inside, I'm just checking to make sure I don't have glue on the edges. That would be horrible to glue my card completely shut. If you think you're going to be writing a lot or stamping, I would do that before you do this step. That way, if you mess up, you just flip it over and use the other side. This is cardstock from Close to My Heart. It tends to be quite thick, and unless you're really pushing hard with a ballpoint pen or using a really, really heavy amount of ink, it shouldn't show through to the other side. So if you made a mistake, you should be able to use the other side. Okay, and then this piece is just going to be adhered to the inside of the card. So I'll go ahead and put the adhesive on here before I bring the card back in. Again, your card is a top folding, so it'll go like that. So this piece is going to go here on the inside. And again, I cut this so that it had 1/8 of an inch all the way around. If you're cutting your own, feel free to do whatever you like. And there you go. The card is all done. You can see it has a little bit of a dimension, but not so much dimension that if you're putting this in the mail that you have to pay extra postage. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, again, just go ahead and leave those down in the comments below. And I'll also have the coordinating blog post, so feel free to check that out. And thank you so much for joining me today, and have a great day.